From Arizona to Washington and all the way to Georgia, welcome to the Coast to Coast Catch Up. We're just two childhood friends who grew up together, chased sports dreams, and now live on opposite sides of the country. This podcast is our way of catching up, unpacking real life, and sharing the ride with you. From deep conversations to lessons we're still learning, laughs to life pivots. It's the kind of catch up everyone needs. Let's get into it, Abe.
Hey everybody. Hey, please keep in mind that this pod was recorded way back in last year of September. Hope you enjoy.
How was your week?
I enjoy a lazy weekend with a much needed college football. So, didn't do anything crazy. Dogs still swam. Still went for quite a bit of walks outside. But I just needed a lazy weekend with this long weekend. So it was good. What about you, man? What'd you do?
Good. Yeah, we had Labor Day off, so that was great. Tuesday, we're recording it. First day back to work. This weekend, I did a few more reffing scrimmages. That was great. Kind of my first introduction, getting out on the field, doing tackle reffing. So that was a blast. Starting to feel comfortable out there, and it was good to finally get some reps doing that. And then this Saturday, Mac and I went to a little workout called F3. Have you heard of it?
I think so.
Okay. Well, it's basically just it's a nationwide thing. It's just, you're allowed to come if you're a male. You show up, it's free. And basically there's just a group of guys that lead you through a workout. And so Mac and I showed up, and we had guys introduce themselves. They're like, "Hi, I'm Alchemist. Hi, I'm Nasdaq. Hi, I'm Chunks, Moose." And by the third one, I was like, "Are these your guys' real names?" And they're like, "No, they're nicknames." They're like, "Is this your first time coming?" And we're like, "Yeah." Oh, okay. Well, you'll get it in a bit, but yeah, these are all nicknames. Like you guys will get one too, and whatever. So we're like, all right. And they let us through these workouts, and they called everything something weird. Like you kind of had to come up with a name for everything. Like a push-up was a Merkle, or I don't know. They had weird things. It was funny though. Yeah, just weird names for people, weird names for movements, and then they had us run a little lap, and not a little lap, but it was probably 3 or 4 miles. And we were all numbered 1 through 6, and they would roll a dice, and then you would have to come up with some workout and label it something funny. So our first one, we run probably a half mile, and then we stop at this person's house. They're like, "Well, this guy has been ghosting me for the last 3 weeks, so we're going to do some monkey humpers in front of him." And basically a monkey humper was something where you grab your heels and you just hump. And we did it in front of his Ring doorbell at 6:30 in the morning, and it was an interesting experience. Mac and I laughed quite a bit, and we met. The average age was probably 40 or 50 years old, and we're 25, and we made up 2 of the 6. So it was quite funny, quite entertaining, definitely different. And then at the end, we circled and stretched, and they came up with some interesting stretches and called them interesting names, and then they gave us some nicknames. So that was funny. It was something I hadn't experienced, something kind of fun. Mac learned about it through his brother-in-law, DJ, and his dad have been doing it down in Texas. So Mac looked it up online, and we saw one that was only a few miles from us. So that was a funny experience. Did that before reffing on Saturday, and then after reffing, Alyssa's diamond was loose. So we took it back to the ring store. It's getting fixed right now, and then we kind of just turned that into a date down in downtown Kirkland, went out to dinner. So that was fun to hang out with her. And then Sunday, played basketball in the morning. Been playing with a group of guys down at the local middle school. That's been a blast. Really enjoyed that. Went 5-1, so that was a good weekend for me. And then played some pickleball with Mac and Michaela. Not against them, but we went to Mercer Island and played some random people. That was fun. And then we're gonna hike Monday, so we got ready for that on Sunday. And then so Monday we went out on that Kolchak hike, same hike I did with my dad last weekend, just under 10 miles, I think eight or 9 miles. It's a blast. Super pretty alpine lake up on top of the mountain. And we went with Alyssa's friends, Charlotte and Micah, and her boyfriend. So that was good. It was kind of our first people we've met here, through Alyssa's work. So I haven't really made any friends yet, but Alyssa's starting to make them. And even the guys I played basketball with were through Alyssa's work. So she's making friends for me too. So, but we're moving along down here in Washington, and it's fun to see, how these weeks progress, and if we stay in touch with these people, or
I went
how all that
on the
shakes
run
out.
with Charlie.
How about
my
yourself,
dog.
Abe? What
Never
was
ran
your,
with her
your
before.
top
No one's ran with her before.
top thing of the week?
Last time I ran with the dog, the dog tripped me, biffed it, and I think I broke my glasses, and just so I was nervous, taking this, this 1.5-year-old puppy basically still on a run. But dude, she killed it. she surprised. It was one of those happy just surprises of oh my gosh, this was the easiest thing possible. Never stopped, never gone off the way. We were running next to cars, and she stayed on the right side. So couldn't have gone any better. And so that was definitely just a mini win of dude, I didn't train this dog to do this, but you're freaking killing it, man. Right. So a lot of more runs in our future for that. And I would say the loss was just Mina kind of resting all Labor Day weekend. Again, I enjoyed a nice lazy day. She did not enjoy watching as much football as I did, but when the weather's nice and it's a long weekend, you want to kind of do something. But like I said, I think we made it as good as we can. And we had plans. We were gonna go to a lake with a bunch of our friends, and those got canceled, right? So that always kind of stinks, but we definitely made the most of what we had. But yeah, so those are my wins and losses for this week. What about you, man?
Gotcha. You broke your glasses running with the dog before?
Yeah,
I have not heard this story.
I fell flat on my face running with Cleo, the white dog, and I didn't. Maybe that's why I haven't been running that much since then.
Was that
maybe
your
that's why
coordination or hers?
She darted right in front. She was in my left hand. She darted to the right. And I mean, I'm not
the classic trip over the dog while running trick.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm fully super athletic. So it couldn't have been my fault.
That's tough.
But yeah, I did break my glass. I fell flat on my face and broke my glasses. So
tough. Are you running with Charlie on the leash?
Hell yeah. Yeah, there's cars everywhere.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know. I didn't know. Maybe we can learn or teach her to run off the leash pretty soon, but makes sense.
She still has.
I get it.
Yeah. She still has, if she does see a squirrel or a bird, if she sees a bird, she'll kind of eye it. She won't dart for it right away. But if she sees a squirrel, she'll dart for that thing right away. And squirrels are starting to come. Their population started lower right now for some reason. I don't know. But I've seen a lot less squirrels lately. And so I was keen in on my surroundings of birds and squirrels on this run. And I think she was so distracted by the run that she missed them as well. So
nice. That
was good. But yeah, we have a super short leash. We probably have a 3-foot leash. So it's pretty short. And so I think that must have helped because she was by my hip the entire time, which was awesome.
Good. So. And then into your running, let's hear an Ironman update. It's been a while since we've updated these. When did we start this? Was it July that we started this?
Yeah.
Early August, maybe?
It could have been more than probably 5 weeks ago, right?
Okay.
So yeah, so July.
Abe and I started he said in our goals podcast, he said that he wanted to run an Ironman in the future. And so I said, let's turn this into some action and let's run an Ironman accumulative by the end of the year. Not saying that's getting us right, knocking on the door of running an Ironman, but it's putting us in the right direction. And even though it's Abe's goal, I said I would join him and do that. So Abe, let's hear where you're at with the 26.2 mile run, 112 mile bike ride, and 2 mile swim. How many of that those miles have you checked off?
I think you joined me on the whole Ironman when we're 30 years old goal as well. So
We'll
please
have
don't
to
be
go
too-
back and see.
that might have been off cam, off off the recording, but yeah. So I got 4 miles in me right now, which doesn't seem like a
Total.
lot. Total.
Okay, so 22.2 left.
No. So I got it's a half. No, it's a half. So I've got like 11 left.
No, we're doing a full one by the end of the year.
Full one? Oh shit! I gotta readjust my charts. All right. So yeah. So I've got 4 miles in. I've done 2 runs so far. I don't want to make any excuses, but so I'm not going to. And so
Good.
But gosh, I haven't ran for a while, so it does feel good to get. Growing up, I mean, we always just ran a mile for high school, so like I never really ran more than. Again, this is coming from a golfer. I never ran more than a mile. So the fact that I've cranked out 2-mile runs just out of nowhere gives me some false confidence of like, oh, I got this.
You do.
I will say, so swimming still 0 because I still gotta figure out where I can swim, and then how to track that. And then the biking, I do need some clarification. The Peloton miles count?
I think those can count. If you're on the bike, I think count it. Try to get them off, but you're in the gym or something. You want to get warm. I think you can count those miles. Same thing with a treadmill, or what do you think there?
Yeah, I think treadmill miles count, right?
Okay.
I think if it was like another bike machine, the one that you like sit, like it's got like a full backrest, like I don't think those count. But I think I think the Peloton's a pretty legit system, and I feel like the mile should count for that.
Okay, yeah, I'm cool with that.
And I think even like a mini goal is, hey, try to get. I have access to a Peloton. I don't have access to a bike yet, so I think
I gotcha.
I think I can get my miles into the Peloton, but I need to set a threshold of like, hey, you need to run and bike maybe in the same day, in the same session at least like 2 or 3 times to kind of get used to that.
Yeah, I think you can just break it up even smaller. Like you don't have to knock everything out all at once. Just make a habit of doing it and knock a little bit out every day. And we have 3 months, or I guess 4 months now.
4.
So 3 or 4 months. So you're already a quarter toward the miles, but you definitely got to get going on all of them for sure. You can't keep putting them off. And same goes for me. I'm only 14 miles in the run, so just over half, and then I have 26 miles biked, so not even close towards the bike. But
yeah, well, I mean, you mountain bike, right? So that helps.
It does.
And it's cool to see how you've been cranking out the miles on the other ones. But where are you planning on doing this swim?
I don't know. I was out at the lake after the hike, and I was like, I could swim to the other side and back, but then I got to go on like Google Maps and
right
and calculate it. I've been thinking about it though, and my gym does have a pool. I don't know if I have to pay to use it, but I might look into that pretty soon and just try to knock a bunch out at a time. Or I guess if it does allow me to swim at the gym, I can start knocking it out. Segmenting that out and doing that at the end of my workout or something. But if not, I'm thinking I'm just gonna have an early morning before Turkey Bowl or something, and just try to knock a good chunk back in Arizona, because my family does have a community pool.
I think, and obviously it's the least amount of the distance is the shortest. I think if we could almost tackle the swim together, where we get back to Arizona for Turkey Bowl, and we crank out some miles before festivities, and then even up in Idaho, maybe we do an open water swim.
That'd be cool. I haven't really ever open water swam before, at least for distance. I've just done it like, oh, look at that island. Let's try. So I don't even know what 2 miles looks like in open water. That seems exciting.
daunting. Yeah, it seems daunting.
It does a little bit.
We can certainly. My parents have a paddleboard, right? So if we can open water, swim, and then have maybe Alyssa track the distance on the paddleboard.
That's true.
Or do some sort of like, Ziploc bag, tied to
That's true. Yeah.
buoy, something. But I think if we do an open water swim in Idaho, and then crank out some meters in Arizona, I think that shortens up the gap of concern we have for getting our swims in.
Yeah. No, it should be fun. I'm
All
excited to see the creativity we come up with, but definitely a long way to go. Yeah, I wish we had a little better news to report, but we're gonna get it done. It's gonna happen, Abe.
It's happening. It's happening.
It is. We are making progress, even though it is not a whole lot, but better that way than the other.
What was your win and loss for the week?
My win, just spending so much time with Alyssa. It was a fun weekend. We had a lot of free time. Just had some time to sit down and talk to each other, and it was really good. We're planning a lot of stuff and really busy, so we don't have a ton of time to just sit down and talk. So it was super fun to just sit down and talk with her and kind of see where she's at with life and catch up with her, even though I spend every day with her. And then my loss is just I've been tired lately. We've been on the go. Kind of like I said, we're super busy with everything, and any waking moment, we're running out to do a hike or going to work or going to work out or coming hiding in my truck to podcast for an hour and a half. So I've just been tired, and I don't like being tired. I'm not good at napping or figuring out how to sleep. So I've just been kind of rolling with it, and I think it's been accumulating for a while. So hopefully I can get some good night's sleep and fix that. But it's been good. I'd rather have that than the alternative, of feeling that there's nothing to do and being bored. So definitely enjoying life right now.
That's awesome. So cool, man. So hey, we'll get right into it. In the last few weeks, we've talked about kind of places we lived. We've got one more to cross off. Austria, man. We talked about you and your travels to Austria, your time there. I know we kind of touched on it, but we're gonna get right into it. We're kind of gonna dive into it and talk about it in more detail. But what got you to Europe, right? I know it was football, but can you kind of elaborate? Because I think most Americans can't comprehend, and even maybe Europeans can't comprehend, American football in Europe. So can you kind of explain how you ended up there?
Yeah. So I finished college ball, and I actually heard about it through some old coaches, coach in high school and even in college. Both went over there to play, and so I was just very curious about it. I love traveling and I love football, so it kind of seemed like the best of both worlds for me. So there's actually a website called Europlayers, and it gives you direct communication to teams over there. You can talk to coaches, GMs, and it just seemed like a great opportunity. Teams, I was in contact with quite a few teams in quite a few different countries, and they are able to cover your travel, your stay, where you're living. They figure out your visas, and then they give you some sort of transportation, whether that be a bus pass or a bike. And then I actually was able to get one meal a day, which was pretty nice while we were there too. So that's really how I heard about my opportunities. It's just reaching out through coaches and seeing how they treat me and what they promised, and talking to other people and kind of seeing if what they were saying was true. So super fortunate to go over there, and I love my time over there.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. So cool to hear. I remember when you told me, I was just like, what are you talking about? There's football over there. Like, that's so cool. I couldn't think of a better place for you to go really after college. But listen, Europe's big. I know you went to a lot of Europe, not all of it, but a good chunk of it, especially for us being over here. You ended up in Austria. Can you kind of talk about what part of Austria you were in, and Were there other places that you were looking at in specific, or were you pretty happy ending up in Austria?
Yeah, no, I loved Austria. It was great. I ended up staying in a place called Innsbruck, which is uh, a ski town right on the Alps. Alps are a beautiful mountain range that kind of goes in a semicircle north of Italy, if you can imagine that. Um, and Innsbruck's a great central location. It's like an hour train ride from Italy, Switzerland, Germany. Even though you're in the valley of the mountains, and it's a decently sized city. It's a city of 135,000. It's relatively small in number when you say that out loud, but it kind of has a bigger city feel just because it is in a valley. It kind of feels like everything's building up rather than out, just because you don't really have land to build out. So it was super pretty, super fun. Um, it was a ski town, really. We got there in January, and it was funny because there was people. It was getting warmer every day when we got there. So when we got there, people were already like riding bikes with skis on the back down from the mountain, and like, what a cool life that you take the bus up there with your bike and your skis, and then you go ski all day, and then you throw your skis on your bike and you take the mountain down on your bike. So it was just an all around kind of awesome experience, and it seemed cool. And sadly, I didn't get to do any of that. I was on contract for playing football, and in the contract they said no extreme sports, example mountain biking and snowboarding. So that kind of eliminated my accessibility to do that. I wish I would have had a little more freedom to do that, but that's okay. I had a bunch of fun there. And then when it turned summer, all that snow melted, and there were some beautiful lakes within the city and even a little bit outside of the city that we would go visit, and it was awesome. Really enjoyed Austria. Austria, for those who don't know European football, Germany is far and away the best country to play football in, but Austria is second, definitely second. And getting over there, I really wanted to play in a league called the ELF, the European League of Football, which is teams from all over Europe. And I wanted to get into that league, and I kind of took this opportunity that was given to me to play in the Austrian league to get some good film. And they also had an ELF team, but I played for the AFL, the Austrian league team, and hoping I could get seen and get in contact with some of those higher level coaches. And luckily I impressed them, and they actually pulled me up to play in that. So I got to play 2 seasons over there, and that was super fantastic. So really got lucky with the location, the teams, and even the friends. I made a bunch of friends from the guys on the team, and then the other American on the AFL team, Kaysen. Me and him got super close, and we traveled around together, and with both our girlfriends and my girlfriend, his wife, and we just, it was a great experience, and I don't think I could replicate it if I tried to go back. So super happy with that, and it was a bunch of fun.
Yeah, man. I remember going up there. I didn't know much about Innsbruck itself. I did get the fortune of going up there. And I remember the second I kind of got out of the train station, I had the same effect where like you go into like this main train station, and people are literally like in ski boots and like have their like skis like on their back, and they're hopping on a bus. And I was like, this is like April. I was like, yeah, what's going on? And then you look up, then you like take a few steps outside. It's like, oh, I see why. Like, I see why the guy just came off this train and got on that bus, because that guy's going to the mountain right now. And like, it's the like. I would say that was probably like the template for a ski town, the way it should be, like kind of across the world. And then you kind of come over to the US, and it's like you think of like the Telluride, the Park City, and it just doesn't have the same feel, which is cool. I mean,
Definitely.
again, you can't replicate something like that, and if you do, it's just hard, right? And so
Yeah, you're kind of tucked into the valley, and the angle to see the top of the mountain is like you got to really
Yeah.
tilt your head back to see the tops. And yeah, it's super cool. And there's ski jump, like a ski jump thing left over from the Olympics. It's like pretty plain and obvious out there, and you're just you have no choice but to think about skiing all day.
Yeah, and I know that you love everything outdoors. We spent some time in Hawaii, we spent some time in the mountains. Like you just love everything outdoors. But man, like Innsbruck, I feel like really kind of channeled both you and Alyssa of like, hey, like, it's kind of got the outdoor vibes of Cannon, and even though it's not super big, like it's a little bit more city, which I think kind of pertains a little bit more to Alyssa. So it was just kind of a cool mix to see that. But I know your work in Europe was obviously, it felt like a lot more play, right? It felt like a lot more probably college football than anything, right? You're playing and kind of coaching football at the same time. You didn't have like a traditional job. Did you, in your time in Europe, did you notice, what were kind of the differences between the US and Europe, right? I know a lot of Americans, with all the kind of social media, it seems like Europeans don't work as much. Their work-life balance is a lot different. Can you speak to that? Is that true? Is that phony? What did you see while you were there?
Yeah, I'd say that there's definitely a better work-life balance over there as far as, they allow you to, I think it was 5+ weeks that you can have off, compared to, the American typical 2-week, maybe 3-week if you're lucky, PTO. So definitely more incentive there. They had, they're paid monthly over there, which I thought was interesting. And we had doctors, lawyers, we had every sorts of human on the team. So it was cool to talk to them. And I got pretty close with one of them who's a doctor, and it's definitely different pay over there than over here. A doctor, you're probably high 6 figures. And then I was talking to him, and he was making 3 or 4 euros a month, or sorry, 3 to 4,000 euros a month. So that equates to about 50,000 a year, which is kind of mind boggling. Coming from over here with all the schooling that doctors have to do and all that. But yeah, very different. Healthcare is a lot cheaper. College is a lot cheaper. A few of the guys even got paid to go to college. Rather, the guy from the Netherlands was saying that he's prolonging his college just so he can continue to collect checks for going to school. So it's definitely a different lifestyle over there, where you're just like, it just feels like life's a little slower. You have more free time. You go out to eat, and it's going to take a long time. You're not going to rush place to place. You're not going to hop in your car. You might, ride your bike instead. And it was cool to just get a different experience than what I'm used to. I only know what I know. So it was very interesting to learn something that I didn't know about, and to take everything with, like kind of a child's wonder.
Yeah.
Another thing that they had that I thought was interesting was when you're in Austria, and you turn 19, you have to enlist in the military for a year, or it's for 6 months if you enlist in the military. It's 9 months if you help out the community. So like you volunteer to be like a nurse or somebody that helps out at the hospital or something. Or you could get both of those waived if you are a top-notch athlete. So we had a few guys on the team who got their military waived because they were the top 20 guys in Austria that could play their sport. And so they had a little patch on their jersey, and they were the military players. And so I thought that was an interesting, different than America, where everybody kind of signs up for the ability to get drafted as a male in America, where over there they kind of just have to do it. And yeah, it was very interesting. So not saying one's better than the other, but it's just different, right?
Yeah, that's so cool. And a big part of this will be a lot of like, hey, kind of comparing and contrasting, really, just like kind of the U.S. and Europe. But were there a lot of smoke breaks? Did you notice a lot of people smoking? getting their smoke breaks in during the workday?
I didn't necessarily work with people.
Yeah.
I played football, but I did not notice anyone on the team smoking. But also that could be just because I didn't hang out with them all day and they weren't doing it at practice. But smoking is definitely more prevalent. Smoking cigarettes is definitely more prevalent over there. Um, yeah, I feel like in the U.S. it's pretty rare to see someone our age who's just ripping a cig, and over there it's very common. Just seeing girls younger than me just ripping cigs. It's like I don't know. It just seemed it's very different, and they're not for me. But if they're your cup of tea, you'll be normal in Europe. So definitely
Yeah.
different over there.
I remember, I forgot who it was, but someone told me like, hey, like you're gonna see a lot of cigs over there, and I was like, what are you talking about? And I think even like your dad mentions like, yeah, like you think he asked me like straight up like, you think you'd smoke over here like if you got 10 minutes off each hour to just smoke, but like you had to smoke, you couldn't just take that 10 minutes or else you don't have it. I was like, I don't know how I'm supposed to answer this. You're my best friend's dad. I feel like I'm being judged, but I don't know. I don't know what I would do, Kirk. But but no, it's just a different way of life. And again, it's just one of those things that you don't see a ton over here. And so yeah, I thought it was interesting. I noticed it. I noticed walking around. The days that I was there, I was like, yeah, there's a lot more people smoking kind of outside. A certain area. I was like, they got work clothes on, and I have a feeling that they're not done with work at 10 o'clock in the morning. I have a feeling they're just on break. So that was interesting. You were there a lot longer than I was, but did you notice Europe felt any more formal? I know like, a lot of people make fun of the US for wearing like sweatpants and slides everywhere. And I know that, you and I don't wear particularly fancy clothing, but did you notice an overall, like, I don't want to say dress code, but just a level of how to dress over there?
Definitely. And I am nowhere near a clothing person. Alyssa will be pointing something out for an hour before I notice it on somebody else. But I wasn't even able to notice it. Flip flops weren't really a thing. Slides not a thing. Sweatpants, no. Even like leggings, like the girls made a few comments, like they're the only ones wearing leggings out. If you wear workout clothes, it's because you're working out over there. It's not like in the U.S. Somebody will throw on some shorts and a t-shirt and that's normal wear. But I felt like over there, you're kind of in a button up, a collar shirt. You have some pants and then nicer shoes. Yeah, it was interesting in that aspect. And I don't really care about fashion or any of that. And so I didn't take a huge notice, but the other American I was with, Case, and I know he kind of evolved his wardrobe and kind of tried to fit in that way. And so it was funny to kind of live through him and see what he was changing and how he was dressing. And yeah, it's definitely, it's different. That's for sure. Definitely an obvious difference. And
complete side note, we're gonna cut this out. Did Alyssa change her wardrobe according to that, or did she stay the same?
I'd say I don't know. I think she probably changed more than she thinks she did.
Okay.
Like just because that's kind of what was around.
Yeah.
But no, not really. Not a whole lot.
Yeah. No, I gotta go. So another big thing, right? Food. What? You eat food every day. Obviously, you said that you get that one feed meal a day. How different was the food in Austria?
Yeah. I'd oddly say it was similar to the Midwest. A lot of brown and white foods, not much spice. And yeah, I mean it's meat, fried meat, breaded meat, bread, beer, cheese. I mean, it's oddly similar to up there in Wisconsin. They have this thing called a schnitzel, which I'm sure everyone's heard of. However, not everyone knows what it is. I thought it was a hot dog when I first got over there, or some sort of sausage or something, but it's basically just a pounded out piece of meat, very thin, and then it's fried, and you serve it with like lemon, and they have lingonberry jam, which is basically like it's kind of cranberry tasting. But yeah, you spread that or you dip it in that, and then you put some lemon on it, and it's good. But I mean, it's nothing too special. It's probably my favorite German meal, but I didn't, it's not like I was like,
Yeah.
if I'm to go back, I'm not gonna be like, ooh, a schnitzel. Like it kind of gets old quick. And then there's brats, there's pretzels, and then actually that's a lie. That my favorite meal was it was basically a beef stew with bread dumplings, and sauerkraut on top, and I really enjoyed that. And they serve that in the place where we get lunch every day, so enjoyed that one. And then Alyssa's favorite was a dish called Kassasplatzel, which is basically just like a German mac and cheese, with cheese with fried, or not fried, yeah, fried onions, and then some thin noodles. And so that was cool. I'm not a huge fan of it, but she enjoyed it. So yeah, it not super exciting food. Definitely when we were gone for the bye weeks, we were like, ooh, we can eat some other things than normal. But yeah, definitely not my favorite. But we were close to Italy, so there are some good pizza places around, and that was pretty nice to get over there and get your own personal pizza. I mean, pizzas over there are you order them for one. It's not like the US where you're going to order a pizza and it's going to feed your whole family. No, like you kind of just order one and that's for you. And it's not because they're huge. It's just they are portioned towards a single human serving. And then another thing with the food that I was interested in was the typical food you eat after going to the bars. It's called a doner kebab. It's basically Euro meat, and yeah, it's basically just a gyro, that a greasy gyro, and you can get that in a variety of ways. Just a plain gyro, they call it a sandwich. You can get it like gyro fries, or you can get like there's even a place serving gyro pizza. So a variety of ways, but that was definitely the way that they ate after going out drinking. So different than the US. I feel like US it's more of like a greasy burrito or something like that in places I've been. So it was cool to just see the cultural difference, and how they approach food and all that. Very fun.
For sure. I think that was my first time to Austria, visiting you, and the first time to Europe as a whole. But I think your dad said it best. It's like we're all like pretty similar. Like us humans as a whole, like we're humans. We're all kind of whether you're from one place or another. It's just kind of like you're just rooting for different teams, right? So going over there and hearing that, like, hey, like their late night snack is kebab. It's funny. It's like, dude, like I need to get like late night snacks. Like it's like you guys are just like me. Like I've got to get something else, but I go to Cali Burrito instead, right? And so that feeling that you get, like, oh, like what, we're going to a place after to eat, like hell yeah, that's exciting, like right up my alley. Then you go to a kebab place, it's like, okay, cool. Like you almost wanted like that opposite reaction of like, you guys need to go try out Cali Burrito. like you guys are gonna have your mind blown, right? And they're probably saying the same thing. So no, that's so cool. And it's so cool to kind of see the similarities and differences of that. But obviously, on a team, it was just you and Kaysen as far as the only Americans in the team. Maybe less team and just as a whole, but or however you want to answer this. But how are you treated as an American? And could people, I guess, tell really quickly?
Yeah. Short answer, great. Teammates were awesome. They're excited to have us over. They have new Americans come over just about every year, so they're pretty used to having Americans over and treating them well, and they treated us great. It bunch of instant friends, and easy to talk to, and they all spoke perfect English. No difficulties there, and football is an English sport, even over in Europe. So I get that question a lot over here. Like, how'd you talk to everyone? It's like everybody knows English. Um, even if they're talking about football in German, it'd be saying whatever in German, and then cover two, incomplete pass, interception, touchdown, make a tackle, like, and then they'd continue saying German words, and you're just like, I know what you're saying, like, but you're just explaining it in German just because it's that they don't have German words for football words. So it was funny in that aspect where everyone's speaking the same football language, no matter what language you're speaking. And then, yeah, the guys were great, man. Treated me really well, treated Kaysen really well, and it was super fun. The only times we really felt like out of place was some older people in the country just didn't speak English or didn't speak English well, and kind of gave us some attitude, but we couldn't understand them, so not that big of a deal. But it was super nice. Everyone was super great. And yeah, all young people over there know English. Some of the older ones don't, but that made talking to people really easy. But I was kind of going over there hoping I would learn German. I started Duolingo. I had a streak of over I think, I don't know, 400 500 days at one point. It has ended now, but trying to learn that. And so I was kind of excited to go over there and be like, all right, I'll live in it, I'll have to learn it, I'll have to speak to people. And I think everyone over there thought the same about me. They're like, oh, you're an American, I can talk English to you and like test things out. And so everyone was excited to speak English to me, and they spoke English better than I spoke German, so we settled on English. And so that was too bad. I didn't learn as much as I hoped, but it was cool to learn that. And I feel like I got better at German. I could read pretty good by the end of my time there, but speaking and understanding others, I struggled with. I might get a word here and there similar to listen to them talk about football, but I'm not going to understand the whole conversation.
We had some technical difficulties with this pod, so please enjoy these photos from Cannon and I's adventures in Europe. And also, thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Take care, guys.